I've been saying for years and years that the scariest version of the Warriors is when Steph Curry is on the ball, not when he's playing the motion offense for 80-85% of the game and being utilized like he's a glorified JJ Redick or a hustle player who sets a bunch of down screens for his teammates and goes stand in the corner half the time while lesser teammates are being prioritized. These things are cool and all, and there are different times to use such tactics. But the key to his greatness is finding that balance of off-ball action, but also giving him the ball to close a quarter or letting him operate with the ball in his hands, using the high screens for pick and roll opportunities to destroy the other team's defense by bringing their anchor to the arc and forcing him to guard Curry, which is not only virtually impossible, it completely breaks any team's defensive structure. Instead, we've been watching a boring, watered-down version of Curry for years, thanks to Steve Kerr's ideologies, and we've practically forgotten what a Curry flurry even looks like, or if he's even capable of it as he gets older by the year. Yes, Kerr had taken the life and joy of this team for too long, but that's all about to change this year, with his hiring of Terry Stotts, the architect behind the career of Dame Lillard. And Stotts has shown the ability to empower his players to be their best, which is kind of a superpower for a coach. He's brought that energy to just about every player on the Warriors, but most importantly, he's brought that to Steph Curry because it appears he's convinced Kerr that utilizing Curry more is a necessity for them to be great. It's been a trend and basically a tradition at this point to watch Curry come out passive to start games. The difference this year is that he starts to pick it up some at the end of second quarters, and then he goes into more on-ball mode in the third quarter to help create separation and assert his dominance. And of course, carry that energy into the fourth quarter to be fully in rhythm to face the pressures of closing minutes in crunch time. When the Warriors have a dominant defense with Curry carrying the offense, they're simply the most unstoppable force the game has ever seen. And that's what you're about to see in this video when he faced the defending champs on the road for a showdown between two dominant teams in the early going. So let's get to it because this is about to be a show. Here's an example of Warriors getting amazing looks when Curry's on the ball. He dishes to Dre on the pick and roll to be the roll passer to Trace, and you can see the ridiculous separation due to Curry's gravity. Wiggins knocks down the open three, but he stepped out of bounds. This is the kind of look you want to begin a game, sure, but preferably he can cut on this play rather than standing in the corner because it's all but a guaranteed bucket at the rim if he does. Here Curry is stuck guarding two giants by himself in transition, and we'll take a close look at his elite two-way ability in this game. Tatum elects to take it all the way to the rim by himself, and Curry's somehow able to throw Tatum's rhythm off, forcing a wild miss at the rim, and the surefire transition bucket gets wasted. Incredible effort from Curry, preposterous decision by Tatum, who could have just thrown a lob to Keita for the dunk. Curry dribbles to the left side using Trace, and apparently the Celtics' plan is to switch because Keita ends up following without any resistance from Holiday. Good news for the Warriors, bad news for the Celtics if they thought that Keita could guard Curry from out here. Curry doesn't even do anything fancy as he simply force dribbles his way past Keita very methodically, and Keita still can't really do anything about it and commits a foul on the layup. You can see just how methodical this is from this angle, and he did so while dribbling past Derek White's help from the baseline with all eyes on him. Beautiful. And one, automatic. You're going to see Curry pretty much guarding everybody in this game, and here's an example of being on an island against Keita, who is a giant compared to Curry, who stands his ground and forces Keita to work for his basket rather than simply muscling and overpowering his way to the rim for a dunk, which is what would happen if most other star point guards were put in this situation. Curry's willingness to put up a fight against anyone allows the defense to recover like it does here from Trace, and look who's there to rebound the miss. This is not normal, and the quote-unquote little things people take for granted. Look at Curry's defense here on Holiday, staying uptight, fighting through the screen that Tatum sets, and staying connected to force a pass, and GP2 does a great job contesting without fouling to force the brick. The naked eye may watch this and not think much of it, but this is the difference between Holiday having a great game or a mediocre one, because he doesn't have an advantage against Curry. GP2 has one of the highest net ratings in the two-man game with Curry, and it's because he's so fundamentally sound. Here he gives the ball off to Draymond and immediately runs to the corner to set a pin down with no wasted movement, and notice the angle he uses to make sure there is significant contact on the screen. And you can see two guys panicking and going to Curry here because, duh. When two go to Curry and you have a rim runner like GP2, that's a layup or a dunk 95% of the time. And this is just one of the most unstoppable actions the Warriors can run. Curry's been on the ball more this year than ever in the Steve Kerr era because there isn't really another ball handler in the starting lineup next to him. And it's so refreshing to see him play his actual position at point guard. The Celtics have a lumbering center guarding GP2 who sets the high screen. Both defenders are looking at Curry once again. GP2 dives to the rim. Kornet tries his best to recover but commits the dangerous and one. A lot of fans wanted GP2 off this team because he couldn't stay healthy, but they're going to be glad he's still on this team when the playoffs come. Buddy is stuck guarding Tatum here, but as you can see, there's plenty of help forcing Tatum to make a pass. If he was an elite passer, this would have been a lob to Kornet, but he gets it to Pritchard, which is also a scary option from the three-point line. It seems like Pritchard is wide open, but watch GP2 not only recover to contest somehow, he blocks the freaking shot. Wow, cheat code stuff. Here Holiday tries to create separation with a hard shoulder bump against Curry, but Curry doesn't move an inch, allowing him to contest this shot beautifully to force the miss. Young players like Trace and Kuminga could really learn from this. Toughness isn't a skill, it's a mindset and a sense of trust in your own strength and a willingness to take a hit. If you're not tough, it's hard to call you a championship caliber player. I have to be harsh on these players because they are in rotation for a team trying to contend for a championship. And you can see how Curry himself sets the standard here, despite being one of the smallest players on the team while also being the oldest on the roster at age 36. This time Curry's stuck on an island against the much bigger Horford and wrestling with him to keep him uncomfortable. Again, Curry is a 6-foot freaking three-point guard. If you can think of another superstar point guard who plays with this level of physicality on defense, comment down below. White loses slow-mo just enough with a simple crossover and gets all the way to the cup through traffic. But Curry of all people is at the anchor spot and strips him at the rim, then wrestles the ball away from Horford. Wow, what are we talking about here? This guy has freak strength, and yes, being strong is a gigantic part of being a powerful defender. So they get out in transition and it's a 2-on-3 actually, but all eyes are on Curry. Tatum completely loses sight of the guy right next to him, that being GP2. Curry throws a simple lob over the three defenders. Keita does a nice job of recovering with his freakish athleticism, but GP2 pump fakes him out of the play for an easy lay-in. This is what you call unprecedented fear, an awful defense from Tatum. Here we go again as Curry fights through a high Tatum screen against White, and notice how Tatum just shoves Wiggins out of the way. I mean, the ref was right there, and last I checked, you can't just shove a player blatantly with both hands like this. But so it goes, all so that he can get the switch against Curry, then he barrels over Curry with a huge shoulder. How is that not an offensive foul? The ref just let Tatum blatantly get away with two completely illegal plays happening right in their faces. No call is made. Tatum finds White, who shoots the three with slow-mo recognizing and lunging at him. He misses and the ball is tipped right to Curry, who stands back up for the rebound. Poetic justice right there. Curry then makes the full court pass to a streaking slow-mo, but White is an elite defender, sees what's going on, and darts over for the steal. In hindsight, Curry could have outletted to Wiggins, who could have made the easier pass from where he was, but it's generally a good thing to look for the outlet pass, especially when someone is ahead on the break, as slow-mo was. Somehow, Kerr felt this was a moment he needed to yell at his superstar, who's been giving the team everything from a defensive standpoint, saying he shouldn't have thrown the pass? That doesn't make much sense to me. And he'd never dare yell at Draymond if he made the same play. But sure thing, Steve. The score is tight and you want to take care of the ball. I get it. Same action again on defense. They keep trying to involve Curry to perhaps try to wear him out, but it's really not working. And finally, the ref sees more nonsense from Tatum and finally decides to blow the whistle. I mean, come on. What even is this? I'm surprised Wiggins didn't get in his face at this point. They try the same action again the next time down, and White moves pretty blatantly on the screen to force the switch, but Wiggins fights through, and Curry is smart enough to simply hedge just enough for Wiggins to recover. Well done. Tatum then crosses through his leg to his left and tries to force his way through, but Wiggins meets him back with force. losing his dribble momentarily, and that's all it took for Curry to steal the ball after sliding down a bit to send Wiggins some help. This is just beautiful teamwork right here. Warriors are back out in transition, and this time, Curry safely gets the ball to GP2. The team has a 3-on-2 situation, and all Wiggins has to do is run towards the basket so that this could turn into a quick 2-on-1 with White having to watch Buddy in the corner. Instead, Wiggins leaks out to the 3-point line, the defense recovers, and it's a reset. This should have been an easy bucket at the rim, but Curry quickly makes you forget about it because he sees Keita in front of him and decides to launch the 25-foot bomb. When Curry sees a center in front of him, he sees nothing but food. Also, Keita clearly invades Curry's landing space, and this should have been an and one. Oh, and just because the broadcast shared this insanely iconic photo, here you go. I don't know what's more ridiculous, that Wemby could cover that much ground, or that Curry still shot the ball over him. I hope the majority of you realize that when the situation was dire and mattered most, Curry was the best player on the floor for Team USA in the final 2 games. I'm not sure they win gold if Curry didn't make the trip. Let me know what you thought about his performance. Back to the action, Curry rejects the Draymond screen on this one, electing to go behind his back, a patented move he likes to pull here and there. And watch as he draws not 1, not 2, but 3 defenders on a drive. Not a shot, a drive. The Celtics are simply petrified when Curry's on the ball, and this leads to a wide open look for Wiggins in the corner, and he misses, but the point is the gravity Curry possesses anytime he has the ball. I wanted to show you this play to provide some context for how things go for Holiday against a lot of defenders. He has Buddy on him, who allows Holiday to get where he wants and laying up the ball like he's playing against a freshman in college. What Curry did against him earlier in the video is just not normal at all, and notice how it makes no difference that Buddy is bigger at 6'5", 220 pounds. Wiggins sets the high screen. It's freaking high screen galore, and it almost feels like I'm dreaming. If you know anything about this team, these are actions the Warriors basically never run in the regular season because this is not motion. This is simple basketball designed to generate points in the easiest way possible against an elite team, and these are the types of actions that I've been begging for Curry to use more consistently, especially when the team is struggling. Well, they're doing it now because Terry Stotts is on the team, and he is the offense. If you can't take my word on the notion that Terry Stotts is the one who's made all these changes to the offense and not Steve Kerr, well, just listen to Draymond here.
Hey, bro, y'all got some dogs over there.
What the additions that they made this coaching staff, Stotts, like you said, he's an offensive mastermind. It's his offense.
With the Warriors defense looking the way it does and using Curry in a more effective way like this team could end up being the most shockingly great team you've seen in a long time. Back to this play. So Wiggins sets the high screen, and notice the screen is nothing as forceful as the one GP2 set earlier. But again, the slip works, Holiday doesn't know what to do and ends up guarding nobody. Curry gets the pass to the cutting Wiggins, who explodes to the rim, and nobody can match the athleticism as he gets the and one. I mean, just think about how easy that bucket was, and how convenient it is when you can just run something really simple and easy for a guy like Wiggins, who has a tendency to struggle at times offensively. Nobody creates easier opportunities for teammates than when Curry is on the ball because of the sheer amount of space he creates. GP2 is out in the perimeter against Tatum, and while that's a potentially problematic matchup from a size standpoint, that's 6'9" Tatum against 6'3" GP2, but GP2 is capable of bothering Tatum if he can force him into a tough shot. So Tatum immediately explodes to try to bully his way past him, but notice Curry's angle guarding White and playing help defense at the same time. This angle allows him to keep an eye on both White and Tatum. He could instead be face guarding White and not pay attention to what Tatum is doing. Instead, his awareness stopped Tatum dead in his tracks and completely reset. Curry's execution of the game plan is immaculate, as his positioning on the floor helps GP2 stop Tatum, forcing him to pass the ball, then seeing the pass and getting the steal. Tatum is going into the halftime a very frustrated player. He shot 2 of 7 from the field and had 4 turnovers in the first half. This play is freaking hilarious. Watch Horford's screen on Moody here. First of all, Moody should not go under the screen against Derek freaking White. But that aside, what is this revolving screen? Anyway, if Horford was more of a quick sniper, That would have been a good open look. Moody's able to spook Horford enough for him to pass off to Holiday. Curry then overreacts to Holiday motioning for a shot, jumping to contest on a fake, maybe a little too much respect. This allows Holiday to drive baseline, a no-no and a rare blunder, but Wiggins is there to stunt him right under the rim, giving Curry time to not only recover, but strip the ball from Holiday. Now that's a way to make up for the initial breakage. Basically, I look for Curry to play to near perfection when it comes to defensive principles and his role in it. So you best believe I'm holding everybody on this team accountable defensively. Trust that Stackhouse is exactly the same. Just downright scary stuff from Steph here, pushing the pace on ball while being pressured with Holiday catching up from behind, and that's okay because he's poised under pressure. He comes to the slightest of a pause, the threat of his shot from here puts the fear of God into White, and his feet are rooted to the ground, preparing for a contest. The threat of Curry's shot gives him unprecedented advantage, part of what makes him the greatest offensive weapon of all time. Amazingly, White is behind but still alive on the play. Highly championship caliber player. Anyway, that guy is still beat. Horford sees Curry has an advantage and has no choice but to fully commit to helping White, which Curry sees and dishes off to the now wide open Moody for the three. And that is why you want the ball to be in Curry's hands more. He's either going to create a wide open look for you or go off himself. It's death to the other team once he's on ball. This switch is insane, as Holiday sets a screen on Moody, and Moody basically gets glued to the ground. You can see him struggling to move away from the screen as he desperately reaches out to try to get back in front of White. It's okay though, because Curry can guard White better anyway in a one possession situation. And here we go, as Curry ends up on a switch against White. White, by the way, already knows this situation just got tougher because he knows he can't blow by Curry. And even on the off chance he gets an advantage, the defense will be ready for him, and there's not enough time to play make off a pass, and he knows being physical with him won't work either, as that will only impede him. There's 4 seconds left on the clock. He fakes the drive into a shot, but Curry is completely on top of it, makes it a very, very difficult shot for White with a great contest, and the shot is not even close. This is what I like to call championship caliber defense. I'm excited to see what's in store for this guy as a defender this season. As you can see from this half alone, against the defending champion Celtics, this guy is 36 years old and literally guarded White, Holiday, Tatum, Horford, and Kata. He literally guarded every single one of them. Make no mistake, Curry is two-way, and that's part of what makes his team's championship caliber. Whew. I know it's a lot to absorb, and quite frankly, it took me quite a bit of time to even make this much of the video. I feel it's my duty to share the truth of what's really going on with Curry and the Warriors, because I see too many lies and false narratives being told, especially by the mainstream media. I bet you Chuck Barkley isn't too thrilled about how the Warriors have started. Anyway, part 2 of this game will be out soon to cover the second half of this electrifying game against the Celtics, even without KP and Jaylen Brown. Believe me, this exciting first half is just the tip of the iceberg, as Curry shows the world that he's still the scariest basketball player on the planet to face in a playoff series, especially when he's on the ball. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.